Welcome to another episode of the Way of BJJ podcast. As always, due to strong language, inappropriate analogies, please do not listen to this around your kids. Now let's get to the podcast. Welcome back to another episode of Way of BJJ podcast, in which we have awesome conversations about everything that has to do with jiu-jitsu. And, follow us, share the episode with your friends, because we fucking deserve it. Yeah, 5-star review, yo. Please. please. Yeah, but anyways, dude, I'm so excited to talk about the podcast, the topic for today, because it's actually really recent.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the entire ADCC Open experience.
Yeah.
That just happened this Saturday.
This guy just competed
For the first time.
after a while.
Over 10 years. I was doing my calculation. I was like, okay, I competed as a white belt.
Yeah.
And I got my blue belt in 2010. So let's assume the last time I competed was 2010. So that's 13 freaking years. So, and which means I've never competed at the black belt level or the advanced level at all. So
Should run for the white.
I guess I should have sandbagged.
Yeah. No, but
to be honest, I was looking at the beginner, intermediate division. Oh shit, these guys, they go hard.
You're actually better off in the higher division because you lose your own division.
I know. Jesus Christ. But anyway, so the ADCC Open in Vancouver just happened this past Saturday. And this, so I think this is an awesome time for us to recap the entire experience, talk about our thoughts and everything. So, I competed and I went through the entire process of preparing for the weigh-ins, the competitions.
I had lots of donuts and chocolate while you were doing that.
Thank you.
So it's good.
I know. Somebody has to.
Right there. Yeah.
Somebody has to
I eat the knife. Yeah, I had to eat your share. Otherwise someone else would eat it.
I was trying not to be too excited because I know Tuna really wanted to compete as well, but obviously you've been following us, so he's still recovering from the shoulder surgery, and he can't even roll seriously right now.
Can't even roll.
You're not supposed to.
Yeah, I'm not supposed to. Not supposed to.
Yeah. So where do you want to start with the ADCC?
Well, so it's actually you're the one that's the star over here. Is you competed? How was it? Tell us about your preparation and your mindset.
Okay, so we're switching roles today then, eh? You're not going to lead the conversation this way.
Well, because you're the one that competed.
All right, sure. I like that. Yeah. So
actually, tell us about your first match.
Already? You know what? I actually want to start by talking about why. Because I've been thinking about this very question. Like, why did I choose to compete? Because I turned 44, right?
Yeah.
And I haven't competed in 13 years, as we already mentioned. And I actually had no intention of ever competing again, right? Because from one of our previous episodes, I mentioned that the reason why I stopped training for 7 years was due to a serious neck injury, right? So when I was lucky enough to come back to training back in 2021, the first thing I thought about is, hey, I don't want to, have another serious injury.
Yeah.
So
for fun.
Yeah, just do it for fun, right? And how did that turn out? I competed.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about that question, a bit of self-reflection, really, right? Like what pushed me over the edge to decide to take that step? Because I'm not the type of person that really wants to compete, right? So I've been thinking about it, but after the entire experience of the ADCC this past Saturday, I think I have my answer. And I think the most important thing that pushed me over the edge to compete is because I wanted to show my daughter. Right? Because I have a 12-year-old daughter, and at this age, she's starting to become a bit more awkward, right? A bit more distance. She's not my little girl anymore. So I've been trying to find different ways to kind of connect with her. Right? I don't want to be the dad that's always just gonna be scolding her, hey, why are you doing, or whatever, right?
It's good that she's part of your journey. She saw you compete,
and I can't just be a friend to her either. I still have to be a parent, right? And then one thing got me thinking is, because when she was 5 years old, as you know, I tried to get her to do jiu-jitsu, but I wasn't training at the time. I was on a hiatus.
Yeah.
So she didn't want to do it. And she started training only after I got back into training, right? And since she started training, there has been a few different opportunities for her to compete, right, as a kid. There should be no pressure, should be something fun, but she wouldn't.
Yeah.
She would just.
And frustrating for not forcing her.
Yeah, and she just doesn't want to do it. She said, no, I don't want to compete. I don't ever want to compete, blah, 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 right? Then that got me thinking, like, okay, maybe it's because I'm not competing, right? Maybe it's the same thing, right? Maybe if I showed her that, hey, it's okay to take some risks. It's okay to show that you are vulnerable, right? Because I could very well sign up for the competition, go out there and completely embarrass myself, right?
Yeah.
It's a 100% possibility, right? And I could go out there and get seriously injured. It happens all the time, right? So, but I think I really wanted to show her that it's not the outcome that matters, right? It's just the journey, right? It's so cliche, but it's really about how are you gonna use these type of setting, these type of stimulus to force you to grow as a human being, right?
Yes, and I think that exactly what you said about there too. I think what tournament is all about. It's nice if you go over there if you win. You know what I mean? It feels good. You get validation for your hard work, right? Mm-hmm. But the way I look at it is like as a coach and as a person who competed, it's all about like what's your growth. It doesn't matter what your reason is. Your motivation for this was like your daughter. You want to be inspiration to her and develop a relationship, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. You know, but also through this, you have like an alchemical growth happening within you, right? You have to train for an event, and then just a lot of pressure happening. There's anxiety. It's just like it's not like going to class anymore. It's like you made your affirmation, everyone know you signed up.
Yeah,
right. And then there's expectation. Your daughter's watching,
yeah.
Right? But pressure is good, and I think that's the good thing. Tournaments pushing that. It pushes you into the environment, and nobody likes that pressure. Nobody likes the stress, right?
Yeah.
But it's a cliche house and diamond made.
Pressure.
They use that up.
Yeah.
Have the seed, have the carbon, lots under pressure, and then it grows, right? Yeah. So it's kind of the same thing happening here, right? Yeah. Like we just go to class, which is good. We're training our body, but there's just something about like your spirit, and it forces you to prepare because you're fighting in the end. You know, for your, and I say fight, I don't care if there's MMA fighters, maybe go to jiu-jitsu match, but the fight of like your personal growth, right? Yeah. And then for some people it's easy and it's natural because they've been fighting a lot and it's amazing. You're competitors, right? Yeah. But it's even more amazing for people who do it part-time because the fact that it's like a totally different, if it's your norm, then it just becomes your norm. Right? But you have to work out to it. But if it's not, you're putting a lot of anxiety, you're putting a lot of stuff in, and all this stuff just creates a lot of growth and character.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I definitely felt that. You know, I think just throughout because like before I committed to signing up to compete at the ADCC Open, right, I think I was becoming a bit lazy with my jiu-jitsu, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a routine that you just go in, right? You do your thing.
You weren't lazy, you were training a lot.
I was training a lot, but it wasn't
this level.
It wasn't this level, right? The level of focus was completely different.
Yeah.
Right?
You have to train differently, right?
Yeah.
But you can't train like that all the time too. Because sometimes you need to be creative.
Right.
But in tournament, it's not about being creative. Yeah. It's like in between. Yeah. Tournament is all about sharpening what you have.
Yeah, for sure. But you know what? That's definitely a huge part of it, right? Just doing that. And I think the second thing I noticed is because we actually we're a pretty new gym, right? It's we opened in March and it's only August right now, so it's about 5 months.
Yeah.
Right? And then we already had one of our students competing a while back.
Yeah.
Right. And I think he props to him for putting himself out there. He competed hard and everything, but we also felt like his preparation could have been a bit more focused. I mean, better is subjective, right?
Yeah.
But
focus.
I think he could have been a bit more focused, a bit more dedicated.
So that's set an example.
So, and exactly. And I think that's another reason I'm like, hey, you know what? It's easy for me as somebody who hasn't competed in freaking 13 years to talk to
Yeah.
But it's no better way to actually just to show them that, hey, Now I can actually understand what you were going through. And here I'm going to show you how you could do it a little bit better next time.
Yeah.
Right. And if I don't put myself through that process, then who the fuck am I?
Yeah, you're just about to talk, right? Not gonna, hey, I know the pressure that you're in.
Yeah.
I know all the like the intricacy, like like all the little stuff you're worrying about before and after. So
Well, you know what? Now let's get on to the event itself, actually, because there's so much to talk about. Right. So first thing is,
well, let's just stick with your match.
I decided to do the ADCC Open because it's so hyped right now.
Yeah.
Like everybody wants to getting on the action, right? Because the organization is doing such a good job, making this a must attend event, right?
Yeah, ADCC is becoming so popular, bigger than IBJJF. That I've talked to a lot of people who are like big gi schools, and I've talked like gym owners. They're all like, I'm just doing no gi now. I'm like why? I'm the 10th Planet guy. I actually like gi. I just have to like sign up 10th Planet first. That's who I am, right? But if I just sign up at a gi, I'd be doing gi. But I guess that's the choice everyone's doing.
Yeah, because that's another reason why I decided to do this one. Because I'm thinking if I just sign up for like a smaller local event, maybe I chicken out at the end. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
But if it's something like that's more like prestigious, I guess it gets me super excited, and then I know there's gonna be so many people watching, because it wasn't even on freaking flow.
That's what okay, here's my pet peeves. I'm so jealous because I'm competing back before this ADCC would happen. You know how many moves I've trained to collect so I can brag about it? So many moves, so many victories over like some like high level. I got some like victories over a black belt. But guess what? They didn't happen because nobody filmed it.
Or if they did, we don't know what the heck those videos
Yeah, it's like all this. But here, flow grappling, you got everything over there. It's recorded, and it's amazing, and I love that. And then because you it's one,
unless you end up on somebody else's highlight reel.
Yeah, but you know what? Even that one's great. Just have to show your friends. Just show your friends the one you want.
I mean, they'll be showing their friends.
Yeah, and then in the end, nobody even cares. Nobody even remembers like that.
Right, that's true.
Right? So it's like, but it sounds like cheesy, but like I wish a lot of like my matches, I have, right? Because they're like, in the end, it's martial art. Sounds so cheesy, but those matches, if you compete and if you have your video, that's your artwork.
Yeah,
Right?
Man, that is so
And
true.
you can post that, especially maybe not back in the day, but you can actually now post your artwork in your refrigerator. You probably have like a mini flat screen thing there. Maybe in a couple of years, like your refrigerator itself door would be flat screen. You know what I mean? But like it's
something to show your grandkids, right?
yeah, and it's just nice.
Important. It's nice. But you'll get it, man. You'll get it.
I'll get some more. Yeah.
Next year you'll be.
I know, but I'll be going against like a lot of harder.
No, you'll be competing against people over 40, just like you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't forget it. You're old. You're also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do adult.
Okay. Yeah.
Kill it once.
I know. Just put
And then go back to master.
just put all your heart and soul into it. You can do it, man. Yeah. Because after all, you're still like 4 years younger than I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
PRT.
Yeah. But moving on, right? So that's ADCC got me excited, and then but I can see why people are so excited about it now after the whole event. So let's talk about the event itself, right? So I went to the weigh-ins.
Yeah.
Right, the night before. Right? So it's the night before is the weigh-in, and so what ended up happening was that I was supposed to be in the over 35 advanced 70 kg division.
Yeah.
70 kg division, but because I injured my knee, actually like a week out, right? So the entire week of weight cutting, I had to cut about 6 kilos, which would be like what 13, 14 pounds or whatever, right? And so I couldn't do any hard training, I couldn't do any cardio, I couldn't do anything.
Just have to move up.
Yeah, so I ended up moving up to 76. Right? But that's one thing I like about this tournament is they tell you straight up, hey, you paid your fees to compete, so if you cannot make weight, we'll just move you up, right? Some other tournament would say, hey, sorry, you didn't make weight, you got disqualified.
You make your money. I like that. They still make it happen.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Because they care about leveling up your experience
exactly, yeah.
in a nice, organized setting. I love how organized and professional it felt. Oh yeah. And then, like all people competing, I see them and I see like the white belts walking like this. I made fun of them a little bit, but I'm just like, actually, that was me. Everybody was like that. Your competition, you compete, and you know what? They should be proud. So I'm gonna take that back. It's good job for them.
Good job for them.
Good job for everybody that competed.
Yeah, I mean, just by the virtue of getting out there and competing, you deserve to show a little bit of cockiness.
Yes,
that's fine.
You know what? Another thing awesome about tournaments, just a family. I used to be in the scene a lot, and I just been like, had to take care of stuff, so I haven't been in the scene. And then just going back there, it was just like, all this.
Listen to our earlier episodes to find out exactly what Tuna is referring to about stuff happening.
Yeah. So like all my it's nice to see all friends over there and just bullshit with everybody. I'm the biggest troll when I'm watching people yelling out stupid stuff all the time, but people are entertained. It's just nice.
And that's awesome, because that's another thing about the main ADCC. You got everybody looking at it, because some of these smaller tournaments, you'll see this guy here, but somebody else won't show up.
Yeah.
And then you go to a different tournament, you see somebody else, but then somebody else don't show up. But for this one, the entire community,
everyone's over there, and that's how you make friends. And honestly, how you get good, like iron sharpens iron. If you're like a new gym, and back in the day, when we first started training, black belts was the rare thing.
Yeah, but now it's
common. But so back in the day, I think Vancouver, BC has been competitive, even though we didn't have too much black belts. Like all the guys, up and coming guys, for a simple reason that we have such an open community that people would cross train.
Right. Which the Fight Club revolution that we talked about so far.
Yeah. And then because of that now, it's got this like a weird kind of like when some people will bicker, but generally everyone in the competition cares, and then supports for each other, and then you meet friends there, you compete against them, and then you become their training partner, and then you come visit them, and you level up.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
That's the way.
It's a community. It's just easier.
Yeah, so it was awesome. Yeah, so we'll get back to that once we get to the event day, right? So we're still at the weigh-ins.
Yeah.
So me and my other friend and student, Chris, we showed up early, right? So we were actually like pretty. We're kind of like in the front of the line, right?
Yeah. I heard you only had one scale. There's no shooting about that.
Well, here's the thing, right? So this is what I want to talk about. So we're like pretty close to the front of the line, and then when the weigh-in time started happening, and then we're like, why is the line moving so freaking slow, right? We couldn't figure out why. So but we slowly kind of inched forward, and then when it was our turn, then we figured out why. So because you have to know, this was a big event. I think there's like close to 1,000 competitors, or whatever, right? So there's like a huge lineup. I posted the video on Instagram. There's like a huge lineup all around the corner, right? So when it was our turn to get weighed in, they had 3 scales, right, which is good, but then they were only using one of the scale at a time. And then
why have 3 scales?
Yeah.
Did you have more people doing nothing?
Okay, so here's the thing. So
I would have tweeted.
So when it was my turn, three people weigh in on one person, which is me. So the first person took my ID and then smiled at me, then passed it over to the second person to check my ID, and then talk to me and ask me my name and blah blah blah. Then handed it over to the third person to ask me to step on the scale, and then punch the numbers into the computer. So to 3 people.
They could have done that by itself.
Yeah,
it would have taken like
to weigh one person when there were 3 scales available.
Oh my god!
And so
they need someone that worked at Starbucks to tell them how to run that shit, man. I would have been like,
but they were so friendly, so I didn't say anything.
No,
guess what though? Here's a really cool thing. So right after, I posted on Instagram story.
They corrected it,
and I tagged Mo Jesson, the organizer. You know Mo, right? Mo,
yes.
Yeah, the famous organizer of ADCC, right?
Yeah, the one that made it happen.
Yeah, and then guess what? Within 10 minutes, he sent me a voice message. Yeah, he sent me a voice message saying, "Are you kidding me? Are you in Vancouver right now? Can you confirm? I'm gonna call them and scream at them." Right? So I got.
Because you know what? That's exactly what it's thinking. It's like whoever shifts equal time service, you charge this. That's the most inefficient line ever. And then did it speed up afterwards?
I have no idea, but if it did, you guys can thank me because I reached out to Mo Jackson. But props to Mo because I know he's super busy. He was actually over at Kazakhstan at that point.
Wow.
Prepare for the IE.
For him, he really cares about every tournament, right?
Yeah, but he cares about it so much.
That's good.
Right away.
Because people wouldn't get bothered with
Yeah,
that.
I'll include screenshots in the video.
That's actually funny.
Just to show that he's to give him a shout out. Like that's what impressed me the most. So hopefully after that the entire weighing process.
Well, it's only going to get better then, right? So you know what? That's actually props. Like maybe it was a good thing that happened, right? Then now it's like solidified, and then now hey, we need to address this. This is important.
But that's another reason why I feel like this ADCC Open is kicking IBJJF's butt. Because of customer service.
They care,
right? Because when I've never competed under IBJJF, but I've heard enough stories. Have you competed under IBJJF?
No, not IBJJF.
Right, but it's the CCJJF. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. But I've heard so many stories about they just don't give a crap, right? It's like, hey, this is the way it is. Either you compete or you don't.
Yeah.
Right. And because there's such a monopoly on the scene for so many years, they got so used to doing that,
Well, yeah, and then they're kind of like getting a weird rep now where like ADCC is all about like making it for the customer base, but also for the professionals, right? Like actually making them professionals.
Yeah.
Because we know how much it, if we want high level athletes, they need to be training full-time, high level all the time, but they also need to support themselves.
So that is why it's good to have competition, because IBJJF, they're paying their the elites to compete now, right?
Yeah.
Like Nicholas Nergalis recently said that he would never compete for IBJJF ever again, but he did because they offered to pay him quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
Right? So
pay your high level guys, right? And then make money off us hobbyists.
I know, which you guys have been for years and years.
No, but it's true. Like it makes sense. Why it doesn't make sense why charging high level guy like black belts money to compete to I guess to whatever their name. But like no, I kind of see where they're coming from because you do get like some people who are facing black belt. But
here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have to change and you are making shitloads of money, why would you change?
Yeah.
There's no incentive to change, right? So now it's good to have
ADCC forcing guys to get paid.
So this will elevate the game, and then guess who benefits?
All of us.
Everybody benefits.
Yeah, we want superheroes and superstars in jiu-jitsu. First of all, it just helps. If we want something in mainstream, we need like lots of known names, and we need lots of kind of like even names that some people would hate,
which is even better because
people
don't care.
People don't care, right? So like, we need characters, right? And then to build characters that stay, they need to be able to sustain themselves, and so they need to get paid.
Yeah.
If they don't, they can only do so. If we see a good, that's why you see in a lot of jiu-jitsu scene. Someone was crazy, they were good, but then they stop.
Because
they can afford, they can sustain it, right?
They can sustain that lifestyle, right? Yeah, but that's why, and
for ADCC, and then that's why it's only going to get way better. It's not like every tournament they're getting better.
So. Oh yeah. So let's keep going talking about the tournament now.
Now the actual match.
So we did the weigh-in, and they picked a really good venue. They picked the Olympic Oval, which is a state-of-the-art venue, right? State-of-the-art. What would you call that? A mega sporting complex, right? So
it's the Olympic Oval.
Right. They built that. That's really they built that for the 2010 Winter Olympics here in Vancouver. So
and then whenever there's like a big kind of like just anything sport like volleyball,
so even just that walking in there, you feel like a star already.
Yeah,
it's not like some high school gymnasium.
Yes, big difference.
Which is not normal.
But it's just something prestigious about it. Like we're competing inside it. Big
but then so let's move on to competition day, right? So we already talked about because all the who's of Vancouver jiu-jitsu is there, so we were saying hi to people, there's a huge party going on, right? But let's talk about the event. So a couple of things obviously could be better, right? As from a competitor standpoint. So I think the first thing is there were no warm-up mats for everyone.
Was he there one? I thought the other was other area was warm.
Nope. No warm-up area. There were no warm-up mats. I actually asked. I walked around. There's no.
Oh, that's actually weird because even the other place have a warm up mat. It actually does help.
So that is the one thing I was like, oh wow, that's weird, you know. But then aside from that, you know, that's like a minor gripe I have. But I wouldn't say it's minor. I think you really should have a warm up.
Yeah, especially if you're a master's division.
Yeah, I know. So
but you know what? You're both unequally warmed up.
I mean, I spent the time to sit on the sidelines to do my breath work and everything.
But it's good to just have a mat, right?
Oh yeah, I would like to, you know, kind of move around a little bit, you know, do some guard retention. So
yeah.
Or do
if you don't have much space, just have one mat and just have a room. Have like maybe just an idea. You have a mat and then like people go there before they get called out. So it's not like everyone was just chilling there the whole time. You get the warm up mat like half an hour before you go, if you choose to, right?
Yeah, I guess. But yeah. So I mean, apart from that, the tournament was pretty well run. You know, they were on time, right? They were like
that's good.
Yeah, right on time because as I said, close to 1,000 competitors, bunch of different divisions, right? They got kids, they got teens, you know, there's adults, men, women, masters, right? So, but it was right on time and just like clockwork, just kept on going. And then they had like the use of full grappling with the smooth pump mats, so which is very easy to see when your match is going to be coming up.
Very well ready.
Yeah, so there's no guessing, there's no waiting around. You're like, okay, 5 more matches until mine, right? You can see it clearly on the website. So that was a good part. But then the bad part is because you know exactly when you're going to be on, then you start getting the anxiety starts.
Well, that's good. Awesome. That's you have to use it, right? And that's something who wants to know they can.
And that is coming from somebody who hasn't competed in right? So
easy for me to talk. I talk big, but I'm the worst. I get pretty good when I compete, but like I'm the worst beforehand. I'm like, oh my god, what am I doing this? You thought your anxiety might be a billion times worse than that.
Yeah. So it was so before my match because it's advanced division, so it was like closer to the end of the day. Right? It was after 3:00 in the afternoon, so I was able to watch a bunch of my teammates compete, you know, and cheer them on and stuff, right? So that was super cool. But because they ran the adult division and the masters 35+ division around the same time, so that created a lot of because my coaches are competing as well.
Yeah, and then what if the person you competed against with, our friend too, Matt Kwan, right? He was doing both. Props for him, by the way, for doing both adult and masters division.
No, we'll talk about it, but I think that's one of the reasons why I didn't get beat up as bad. Is
No, actually, you were.
We'll talk about it.
You went first, right?
We'll talk about it. Yeah. So, but because of that, so my coaches who it would be coaching me and cornering me wasn't able to make it. So that's why I brought Tuna, because Tuna, we already talked about it. There's a high possibility that they won't be able to corner me. So
they're doing their own thing.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, you know what? So I told him right off the bat, I hate you. You know, you guys are busy. Let's let Tuna corner me. So, and Tuna, man, let's get to the match because I've been watching the match videos and stuff. I've been getting emotional this whole time because of a couple of things. So first of all, the first match back after 13 years was against the guy we just talked about, Matt Kwan.
Yeah.
He was considered one of the top competitors here in ADCC.
Yeah.
Right, and he just turned 35, so basically he just barely made the cutoff, right?
Yeah, he's the youngest out of that master division.
And then he's like
most experienced competing.
Right, and he's dedication precedes himself, right?
Yeah,
it's like people on paper, people see, oh, Matt Kwan versus this guy, Minju, 44 years old, just recently got promoted from brown belt. Yeah. You know, he's gonna smash me, right?
Yeah.
So, one thing that's good about this kind of uneven matchup is like, I have nothing to lose. So, so at that time, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna step up there. He was supposed to beat me anyways, so I should just try to do my best. Right. So that was the first match, and so surely, you know, enough when we first started, right? He pulled guard right away, and then he came up for a really strong wrestling, which I wasn't ready for. And he took me down right away, and it goes downhill right from there. It's just me trying not to get past. You know, trying to survive.
You're staying tight.
Yeah, staying tight, trying to survive.
You did turn. I'm proud of like that instead of just getting your back. I said, except I get your quarter face in. It's not so simple, but it's like empowering unless you know that you can force
Right.
the good position.
So he ended up getting me in a heel hook with 4 seconds left in the match.
Yeah.
Right. So I didn't get my moral victory of not getting submitted, but in a way, it's still good because a couple good things happened in that match. So the first thing was when he got to mount. First thing is I have to say, his pressure was unreal. Jesus, because I trained with a super high level guy who, my coach Lucas Wilhelm, super high level. So I'm used to high level people, right? But his pressure was like, man, haven't felt that kind of pressure long last time, right? So he was able to control me in my half guard. I wasn't able to destabilize him whatsoever. So that's why my lockdown didn't work. When he was able to pass into mount. And when he got into mount, that fucker, sorry Matt, love you, but that fucker tried to mother's milk me.
Yeah. He just wants to feed you.
I was like, then my daughter was like on that side watching. I'm like, not today, not today, fuckers. So I finessed my way out of it, but my neck is actually still sore from just escaping that mother's milk. So they didn't do that, and then switch that to the back kick, in which I heard people going, "Ooh, wow!" I see he was taking my back, and then, but luckily I'm actually pretty good at that defense. I slipped and escaped right away. Didn't even give him points on that, and then I was able to trap him into my quarter guard. And then one thing I noticed is that even after 13 years of not competing, I was way more calm because I remember 13 years ago when I competed, I don't remember anything. I couldn't hear my corners. I don't even know what the fuck's going on. I'm just fighting out of instinct, right? But this time I was actually calm. I can hear everybody. I can hear you.
So your role comes into play.
Yeah, I wasn't panicking. I was controlling my breathing, right? So I was able to. I heard you. That's why I was able to put him back into
back facing him.
Yeah, and but then that's when he dropped for that. So
yeah.
And I think I was texting you earlier. This bugging me a little bit because I feel like I probably could have gotten out, but I wanted. It was again, not making excuses, but it was the same need that.
Well, here's the thing too. It's like it's the way I look at it. It's Masters Division. We're not doing it for $10,000, right?
Right.
If you think like that, it's like you do your best. Like instead of like I could escape. I should have never been there in the first place. Right. It's like playing poker. And you folded a 7-2 offsuit. It's a shitty hand, and it hits. You don't want to think I should have never folded that.
Right. Yeah.
Because it worked that time, but that's not the truth.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I hear that. I know. So when you said that, I'm like, yes. You know why? Why am I? He's basically he beat me up. I should have. My jiu-jitsu just need to be better. So I'm not in that.
Yeah.
Not that kind of a situation, right? That's all there is to it. The heel hook was just a cherry on top.
Yes, and if it was like maybe like for a lot of money, then like I'd say just like it's stuck for fight for it.
Yeah.
But with the leg, of course you do your best just kick, which you did.
Right.
And I wouldn't push it. I would have just been like, well, you should have just push it next time for your next tournament and not let him get there.
Yeah.
It's not so.
It's much better to say, okay, now go back to the lab, really drill your
and just like level up the game instead of staying in kind of like regret. Mm-hmm. And wanting to make a bad decision happen.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the part that's kind of fun as well, is because I think obviously we don't know, right? But he had to pace himself. He had to manage his energy a lot more than I had to, right? I'm gonna have 2 matches, but he can potentially have like 8 matches or whatever, right? In the same day. So 6. Something like that, right? So I'm sure in his mind, he's like, hey, you know what? I know I can beat this guy, but I want to conserve my energy and be real strategic about it too, right? So that's the thing. So, but it was awesome coming back to competition against one of the best guys in BC. And
well, you only got better.
My goal was just to be able to show my daughter, like, hey, on paper, I'm supposed to get beat, but I still fight hard, and I don't just concede, right?
Your second match.
Well, now let's go to the second match. So here's a bit of confession. It's confession time. So after the match with Matt Kwan, then I was like, oh man, I love the match because I don't know who the other guy is. Like, none of us do. He's just we just know that he's a black guy.
And you don't have to worry about pacing anymore.
Sebastian, Cabellas. is we have no information on this guy.
He's not, and props for him.
He's from
Argentina. Yeah, he came from Argentina and just competed by himself.
Yeah, no corner. No.
I ended up cornering him against Matt Corner. And I was like, what are you doing now? I was like, yo, bro, you got your team with you.
But you know, it's kind of a mindfuck. Is that I know, right? I know I just lost in that quad.
Yeah.
My first competition back. I was feeling that adrenaline dump just a little bit, right? So here's the confession. So they were calling for Matt 1 versus Sebastian as the second match. It was a round robin format because there were 3 of us, right?
Yeah.
Round robin format. So the second one is Sebastian against Matt. So, but Matt and Sebastian didn't show up, right? So they moved on to the next match. So the later I found out is because Matt was competing at the adult division at that time, so they just moved the match to later. But I didn't know that at the time. I thought, oh, maybe Sebastian didn't show. And then I have to confess, I felt a sense of relief. Oh, maybe this is it. I don't have to fight anymore. Oh,
it's so disheartening after you lose. So I think the couple is good as you grow from that, right? Because you know what's so shitty? Losing again.
Oh man! So this is my confession, and so
I can make that too.
So I was going to do this going on. Yes, I was kind of like a bit relieved. I was kind of like, oh, maybe he's dead. Maybe I don't have to fight, and they'll give me second place because he didn't show you forfeited or whatever, right? So then they called my name. Okay, Minju and Sebastian. And I was like, okay, he's not gonna show. Then this guy walks out. I'm Sebastian. I'm ready. I'm like, oh, showed up. Showed up. This guy from Argentina. Let's go. Oh God. And then it was like, okay, well. But one thing about me is like when it's time to go, and I just said, okay, you know what? Let's do it. So I stepped out, and then we started, doing some wrestling exchanges on the feet, and then I immediately felt like, okay, he's a black belt, very good pressure, and everything. And then of course he did his black belt level of wrestling and got the double underhook, and then took me down, right? And then I'm like, okay, I'm not about to find out how good some of the black belt really are. I'm gonna put you in my world.
You can do that when you guys hang around later.
Yeah. Now you're at war. Like I'm gonna put you in my world, so I don't ever have to find out how good you are.
When later lockdown.
Yeah. So I started doing my rubber guard. Right? I started doing my rubber guard and feeling this pressure, so I was able to work.
Earlier, but you're doing pretty good pressure.
I was able to start working my rubber guard to get me thinking about my attacks. And then from there, he postured up to get out of the rubber guard. It gave me a chance to lock the lockdown right away.
And then you get to be underneath.
Yeah, so I got the lockdown, and then from that point, I felt like, okay, he doesn't know this position well. I can feel. When you're really good with the lockdown, when you've been doing it for years, you can feel.
You know when someone's been in there, isn't doing the right thing.
They know how to react to it. Yeah, and now, okay, I can sweep this guy.
Yeah.
And then I went for my electric chair. And then when I got to the electric chair, I'm like, you know what? Fuck this shit, I'm gonna try to finish it, and then I cranked it as hard as I've ever cranked. If you watch the video, I was forcing him into like a full split.
Yeah, I actually thought he can do the split for a second, that's like get the last, like until you stuck with it.
I was like, okay, fuck you, boom, and then he was like, nice. And then that was it. And then
that's the best thing too. Does it feel good to land something you drilled? And that is one in your repertoire. Is it so like a fluky thing?
It's like I made this happen.
Yeah, and you earned it. You know what I mean? It's just like I've seen it in my head before.
Yeah.
Right? And then manifested.
Yeah. And then the part that got me emotional is after the fact, when I rewatched the video. Guess who had the loudest voice in the video? It was this guy. As soon as I won, I put him in the electric chair. I stood up. I was like, yes, first one. Yes. I heard in the video, you can clearly hear Tuna shouting, talking to my daughter, saying, "That's your dad! That's your dad!" And then you said, "That's my senpai!" And then you were so proud of me.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm so happy. I'm tearing up. So good.
Yeah, that's why.
It's a big moment, man. You've been competing for 13 years.
Then I'm like, oh man, dude. That's the part that got me emotional. Man,
that's so good.
This guy, man. I can love you, bro. Love you.
Love you too.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And so the biggest takeaway from this is that I was thinking, why did I get emotional? That's part of it. The other part is because my daughter and my wife were next side watching, right? So I was able to show my daughter, especially because my wife is she's a grown ass woman, right?
Yeah.
But
she knows everything.
So so I love her to death. But I was able to show my daughter that hey, despite falling in the first match and losing, even though I put up a good fight. But then I still came back and won the second match, despite having just had a setback.
Actually,
Right?
for like a generally like wisdom point of view, if your goal was for your daughter, it couldn't have worked out better like this, right? Because the way you've been like super dad, but then like this one has like a subtle kind of like important life lesson.
Yes.
Right? Instead of like,
oh yeah, my dad is just a super, you're just that good, whatever, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, oh wow, adversity.
yes,
Overcoming adversity.
overcoming it.
Yeah.
Not just giving up, not letting your weakness, your confession didn't manifest, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah,
then,
because-
it shows overcoming that.
It could have worked out really, really badly, right? I could have been so relaxed and relieved, and then when I go out there, I just
And you would have had this kind of
I just kind of let the other person walk over me, right?
yeah. Well, this is good.
Yeah. So that
And
was
she was so proud of your medal too.
Yeah.
That's good. And she knows how hard it is too, right?
Then she sees my kind of cutting weight, doing all the cardio, doing all the training, putting all the hard rounds.
Hopefully inspires her to like
Maybe
try it once. If not, it's okay.
I'm not gonna force her. Hopefully she sees the change, because like even these 2 days since the competition, I don't know if I'm imagining it, but I kind of sense she has a different level of respect for him
Yeah.
than just being a dad. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a weird thing, but
No, it's good. I think she does too, because she just sees everybody, but now she sees you go out there and doing your life. And see everyone else is proud of you, right?
so I think from now on, when I tell her these type of things, she would take it differently.
Yeah. It's not just like, whatever knows the word, right? And then the fact that it was hard, the first match was like not one, right? So that's even like, it's better. You didn't give up. You didn't let that get to you. You moved on and you got your victory.
Yeah, dude, you know how many messages I got from not random people, but like people I used at the same place, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that was a good match, good job. Wow, come to me, your defense is so good. Blah, 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 I can spend fun. Oh my god, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, man. Yeah, so do want to use this chance also to just say I'm losing my train of thought. But I think it's a good time to thank people as well. It's like my coach Lucas Ryan. He won first place in a fucking stacked division. 76 kg. He actually had Medic One gave him like the toughest fights of the entire tournament.
You can take a little bit credit for trying to carry out that punch. That was part of the plan, so you did win.
Yeah, sorry, Matt.
Yeah, Lucas, you can thank me later. I'm pretty sure Lucas was skilled for that.
Yeah. But that shows. But watching Matt Kwan and Lucas fighting it out, like, gave me another feeling. Yeah, Matt Kwan definitely was conserving his energy.
Yeah. But made you feel more proud, actually, right? You're like, I'm gonna against that guy. I did good. Actually, did really good.
Yeah, fucking beast, man. So congrats to everybody who competed. It was awesome. And so after my matches, right? So it feels so much better because it's in a 3-man division. I could have lost both matches and still got third place, right? But it wouldn't mean nearly as much. It would probably be one of those medals I would never
You throw away. I had a couple of those. Like, what's the point? Right? It's good. I think it's respectful to show you the podium. So, like
right, because they want the pictures and whatever. Right?
You have to respect the winner. I hated it. I showed up anyways because I'm like that because I had some effort that didn't show up in the podium. Oh, you bitch ass! Yeah, I said, bitch. I worked specifically hard just to beat this punk.
Yeah, but it's
This is good. And then
so it's like a meaningful one, man. Second place, competing enough to black belts, which is cool.
you know what? Before forget to mention it, one thing cool about ADCC, I'm not sure if they're doing this purposely, but Big Dan was there.
Right.
And I think what they're doing is they're just trying to send, I'm pretty sure he didn't like want to almost, I guess he would have traveled to Vancouver and do this tournament. I'm pretty sure like Mo or something, the organizer had it set up so at least like one of like their stars would be at an event
It's kind of an attraction to it. Right?
Yeah, and then
You're gonna get smart attack like again.
come on, let's go. But it's but it's good. It's because then now it's like like it makes it like more prestigious, and you get to see like higher echelon guys. And what it does too is it gives now guys. If whoever wanted to go against Big Dan, he had an opportunity to be in his division, right? And then that's amazing.
Yeah, it's almost that's another thing that's super cool about jiu-jitsu, right? It's like playing one-on-one against LeBron James, whoever, right? So when are you ever gonna get that chance out of the sport? Too?
And then pretty much a bunch of our awesome guys showing like maybe not some of them were from Vancouver, some of them came to Vancouver just and they have the opportunities. And then so I'm thinking I'm not sure the rule, but I'm thinking that's what they're doing. They're always sending like one big name, which is
Probably that's because that
makes sense. Why would Big Dan come to Vancouver other than be like
but it's so true though, because the Big Dan is the absolute legendary, right? And then I was watching some of those matches, and you could see he would like smother that the guy within like 30 seconds or whatever. But then after the fact, the other guy is like big smile, like, oh, I just got smothered that.
It's not like you're awesome match against Nakwan. Nakwan's dope, right? But imagine those guys against Big Dan. So it's kind of good. And you know what was about me? I remember mostly I thought I said Big Dan to like an absolute anymore. It's just like kill those guys. Maybe he was going ham before, and it makes sense. Maybe he was still first competing. He's still first like getting his foot, comfortable in his own footstep. You know what I mean? He started this,
right?
And but when he started,
he's only 21.
yeah. And but when he started now, he was actually like rolling. Actually, looks different from when he first started. He's like getting comfortable big time. Maybe he realized he was a bit anxious. He's like. In the beginning, he thought he was fighting because he was fighting. Every opponent every opponent is like a high level guy, right? You know what I mean? It's like Victor Hugo. Every opponent is like so he has to give it his best. But now he's realizing he's like actually I'm one of the best now. And in this tournament, it's equivalent to him going to just an open mat. Because I thought he was actually a lot gentler and very relaxed for the other guys. He could have ripped so many foot like he did, right? And that's why that guy was able to go. Maybe Mo talked to him, or he felt
maybe that's why he was working on the smart attack, right?
Yeah,
it's like the most non-violent way to,
but also the most like violent, non-violent.
The most
Well, you're not gonna injure somebody in that. Right. Worst case scenario, maybe they break their nose because they're just not because they refuse to turn their head to the side. But like, no one's gonna be permanently injured. Mm-hmm. Maybe a sore neck, worst case scenario. That's not like an armbar where you can right. So just props for Big Dan. Because I remember I seen Big Mo talking about that and imagined it. But now when I actually saw him live, I saw it compete like very. He knew his class, and then he was made it safe for the other guys. Right? I'm pretty sure someone over there where he had to super saiyan it. He would. He's just at the level where he doesn't need to go super safe.
Yeah, I think you're right, and that's so let's talk about other things that's really cool about the tournament. It's the intensity and the excitement. Right? How many times did the spectators erupt into cheers?
It's becoming more because it's so organized. It's becoming more spectator friendly. So you can invite your friends now. Before, like I wouldn't even invite my friends and family because I wouldn't want them sitting around 8 hours because
the best part and the most exciting part about this tournament was again they don't stop the action, right? There were a couple exchanges where they were like wrestling off the mat, but then they continue, right? So I saw one clip.
Ronaldo and
was it Ronaldo? I saw this one clip where they were wrestling out. The guy was like trying to do a knee tap on the other guy off the mat, and then they kicked another like a spectator, like a little girl. They just knocked the girl.
Get out of here!
Yeah, like get out of here, girl! You knocked the girl over, and then nobody gave a shit, and then they just kept on going, and then the little girl just picked herself up and moved away.
Everyone has children except when they get in the way. Remember that meme where track and field and that little Asian kid just jumps in the middle of it and the guy just runs through him?
Yeah, and then remember my teammate, Ryu? Looked like he had been through an MMA fight.
Oh yeah, I was going over there. It
was like, congratulations on second place. Oh, who did you just fight?
No. I'm just did you also sign up for the MMA match?
Yeah. Oh man.
But grappling.
Yeah. But congratulations on my teammate Ryu. from Uphill Arts. Oh my God, you know, he's second place, well earned. He fought so hard. It was freaking crazy. I mean, again, it's a battle. It shows on his face.
Props, congrats for everybody who competed.
Yeah. I know we're not gonna be able to name all the everybody who competed, but
Props for the team over there at 10 Planet. Awesome. Got a bunch of guys that killed it. G. Martin killed it.
oh man,
Who against the guy with twice his size?
that's awesome. Vertically,
Vertically, yeah. No, he was actually pretty changed
he's
too.
a freaking tank man.
Yeah, he is. Maybe they're the same size. He just
Big congrats to
hey,
all our
maximize that.
big congrats to all of our friends, right? My home team, Uphill Arts, your home team, Titan,
Yeah, they just are friends.
our friends, Skull Jiu-Jitsu, Vandal Jiu-Jitsu, you know, On Guard, it's Island Top Team, Advantage Jiu-Jitsu, and again, I don't want to miss anybody, but
The gyms in BC.
everybody was
It was
there.
a fun tournament.
Everybody was there.
Crazy, crazy riots. Everyone was just high level of competition, friendship, and camaraderie.
Yeah.
Camaraderie. Yeah.
That's the way it should be. And on that note, I think we're going to end it here.
In camaraderie.
Our good conversation, and we can't wait for the next one. And well,
See you next week.
see you next week.
Music up!